Hello, my dear friends. In the previous episode, we followed Hoài Ca and hung through the warm and heartfelt days of Tet. The steam from the pot of bon chung still seems to linger somewhere in memory, blending with the scent of dong leaves, freshly harvested sticky rice, and rich, fragrant pork spreading throughout the small kitchen. The peach blossom tree in the yard still holds on to its gentle pink hues of early spring, each delicate petal trembling softly in the cool breeze of the season's end. Tony and Duc's new clothes, still carrying the fresh scent of fabric, are neatly folded on the wooden chair beside the table. And the first meal of the year, though simple, felt surprisingly warm, as the whole family gathered together, raising cups of tea and exchanging sincere New Year wishes. Hung not only took care of his own home, but also quietly accompanied his mother to visit relatives for Tet, stopping by to see the elderly woman who once sheltered their family during their most difficult days. The gift they brought was not extravagant, yet it carried deep gratitude and affection. The old woman's eyes welled with tears as she received it, while Hung simply smiled gently, as if he were returning a part of the kindness his family had once received. That year's Tet was not filled with fireworks or lavish feasts, yet it felt complete in its own special way, complete because of togetherness, gratitude, and hands held tightly despite the many worries that still lay ahead. And then, just when everyone thought the early days of the new year would continue flowing in that gentle rhythm, like quiet water drifting past an old riverbank, a new episode begins. On the morning of the next day of Tet, the air was still slightly chilly. The dew had not yet fully disappeared from the leaves in the garden. The early sunlight filtered through the peach blossoms in the yard, slanting across the red brick floor and making the fading pink petals glow more brightly in the delicate light. The atmosphere carried the crisp freshness of early spring, both peaceful and lively somewhere in the distance. Inside the house, Hoài Ca had already woken up early. She gently folded the blankets and straightened the small table in the living room, where Tet sweets and yesterday's teapot were still arranged. The sound of children's footsteps echoed from the inner room, bringing a smile to her face. Duc ran out first, tugging at his shirt, with Tony following behind, his hair still slightly messy from sleeping late. Hoài Ca bent down to fix Duc's collar, reminding him to put on a light jacket because the weather was still cold. Then she turned to Tony, adjusting his scarf neatly, her hands quick yet tender. The two children chirped like little birds, their eyes sparkling with anticipation as Hung stepped in from the porch, his voice low and warm. "Today, let's go to the spring festival. We'll go early so it's more fun." Those words seemed to brighten the whole house. Duc cheered immediately, while Tony began bouncing near the door, unable to stand still. The laughter of children filled the morning air, blending with the gentle wind rustling the peach branches outside. Hoài Ca paused for just a brief moment. A flicker of concern crossed her heart. The spring festival at the beginning of the year was usually crowded, and children were always energetic. What if there was pushing or jostling? Thinking that, she instinctively looked at the two little ones, so excited they could barely contain their joy. Then her eyes met Hung's smile, a calm yet protective smile. Just that one glance was enough to reassure her. She told herself that at the start of a new year, the whole family should take a trip to fully embrace the spirit of spring. Not only for the children's happiness, but also to create another warm memory together. Those small memories would one day grow with the children, like quiet seeds nurturing their souls. Hung carefully locked the door, checking the latch once more before turning to hold Hoài Ca's hand. His hand was warm and firm, sending her a clear sense of security. With his other hand, he held Tony's, while Duc trotted close beside them, chattering non-stop about buying cotton candy, watching the lion dance, and showing off his new outfit to friends. His childish voice rang out continuously, making both husband and wife laugh. The village road today seemed to wear a different appearance. People were dressed neatly in dye and new clothes of every color. Greetings and laughter echoed along the path. New Year wishes traveled warmly from one gate to another. The atmosphere of early spring seemed to weave itself into every step. From afar, the sound of drums pounded rhythmically, mixed with loudspeakers playing familiar spring melodies. Occasionally, children's excited shouts floated back on the breeze. Those sounds made Tony and Duck walk even faster. They pulled their parents' hands eagerly forward, as if afraid of missing something waiting at the end of the road. Hoài Ca looked at the scene, her heart stirred by a feeling both familiar and new. It was still the same village road, still the familiar faces she saw every day, yet in the light of spring, everything seemed covered with a layer of hope. She gently squeezed Hung's hand, saying nothing, simply savoring the moment as her family walked together into the unfolding rhythm of a new spring ahead. The spring festival was just as lively as Hung had said it would be. Right from the entrance, colorful flags were strung high above, fluttering briskly in the still chilly spring breeze. Red, yellow, blue, and purple intertwined to create a brilliant patch of sky, as if the entire village had put on a brand new outfit. Stalls stretched along both sides of the road, crowded and bustling. There were little figurines shaped into playful animals, shiny clusters of balloons glimmering under the sunlight, strands of soft white pulled candy being stretched skillfully by hand, and fragrant grilled corn releasing curling streams of smoke. The sweet aroma of sugar, butter, and roasted corn blended in the air, slowing people's steps as they paused to savor the moment. Spring music echoed from a loudspeaker set at the front of the communal yard, mingling with voices calling out, bargaining, and laughing. Everything blended into an endless stream of excitement. Adults chatted, children cheered, and groups of young people gathered to watch traditional folk games. The atmosphere was both familiar and stirring, carrying that unmistakable feeling of a new year, the kind of feeling that makes you feel young again simply by stepping into the crowd. Tony looked around in wonder. His round eyes widened, shining with undisguised curiosity. His small hand tightened around his mother's, as if he wanted to move forward yet still needed a familiar anchor amid the sea of strangers. Hoài Ca felt those tiny fingers clinging to her. She bent down gently and asked in a soft voice, "Tony, what do you like? Show mommy." The little boy didn't say much. His gaze drifted toward the colorful balloons swaying in the wind, then shifted to the wooden carousel turning slowly at the corner of the yard. His lips parted slightly, but no words formed. Tony was slow to speak, so most of his emotions were expressed through his eyes and small gestures. A slight lean, a subtle point of his finger, that was enough for Hoài Ca to understand. Today, in those eyes, there was a clearer joy than ever before. Not the usual hesitance, not the quiet gaze she often saw, but the pure light of a child genuinely excited. That alone softened her heart. She didn't wish for anything grand, she only hoped that moments like this could somehow make up for the hardships her son had once endured. Hung stood nearby, watching mother and son with warm eyes. He ruffled Duck's hair before stepping toward a nearby stall. A short while later, Duck was holding a cotton candy bigger than his face, giggling as he walked. Tony was given a bear-shaped balloon, light brown with round, adorable eyes. The boy hugged it tightly against his chest, as if it were a precious treasure, a small but unmistakable smile curving on his lips. Hoài Ca watched the scene, feeling her heart grow light. Amid the surrounding noise and countless unfamiliar faces, she could still sense a private circle of peace wrapping around her family. She thought to herself, "This is enough." Just walking together in the spring air, watching the children laugh, holding hands step by step, that is enough. But the festival was getting too crowded. The flow of people grew denser as a tug-of-war game began ahead. Drums pounded rhythmically, cheers surged like waves. People gathered into a large circle, each trying to push forward for a better view. In just moments, what had once felt spacious became cramped. Hung instinctively placed a firm hand on Hoai Ca's shoulder, like a silent wall shielding her from the pressing crowd. She tightened her grip on Tony's hand, her heartbeat quickening with unease. Hung pulled Duk closer to his side. Suddenly, the cheering rose sharply as the two teams pulled with all their strength. A group from behind pushed forward, eager to get closer. The shove wasn't forceful, but it was enough to make Hoai Ca stumble slightly. Reflexively, she clutched the bag in her hand and tried to steady herself. In that brief moment, the sounds around her seemed to grow chaotic and overwhelming. She quickly turned to look for Hung. In those few short seconds, when her eyes left her child's hand to glance toward her husband, her hand suddenly felt empty. The sensation came so fast she couldn't immediately comprehend what had happened. The fingers that had been tightly holding her son were now grasping nothing but cold air. The bear-shaped balloon was no longer within sight. Hoai Ca froze. Her heart skipped a beat. The surrounding noise suddenly felt distant, muffled. She bent down abruptly, her panicked eyes scanning the crowded legs in front of her. In her mind, only one thought repeated itself over and over, pounding like the festival drums just moments ago. Where is Tony? Tony was nowhere to be seen. Tony. Her voice grew smaller, as if even she could not believe what she had just felt. Her eyes started around, searching desperately for a familiar small figure among countless moving colors of clothing. Her heart began pounding so hard it felt as though her chest were being crushed. The crowd continued to flow, layer upon layer pressing forward, then scattering again, blocking her view. The cheers, the drums, the laughter still echoed endlessly, but to Hoai Ca, everything had become chaotic. The bear-shaped balloon that had been nestled in her son's arms just moments ago was gone as well. She turned to Hung in panic, her eyes already filled with fear. Where's Tony? Hung froze. He looked down at the empty space beside his wife, where a small hand should have been tightly holding on. Then he quickly scanned the crowd, his gaze sharpening in an instant. His face drained of color. Tony! Tony! His voice rang out, cutting through even the pounding festival drums. But in the thick sea of people, his call was swallowed whole. Duk looked around frantically too, clutching the hem of his mother's shirt. Where is Tony, Mom? The innocent question pierced Hoai Ca's heart like a blade. Her legs felt cold, her head spinning. The surrounding sounds seemed to drift far away, leaving only the thunder of her heartbeat in her ears and Hung's voice repeatedly calling their son's name. Hung quickly pulled Hoai Ca toward the edge of the road, away from the pushing crowd. He placed his hand firmly on her shoulder, steadying her. His voice was fast, but forced into calmness. You stay here with Duk. I'll circle around and search from the other side. Tony usually stands still. He won't run far. It's okay, it's okay. He was trying to reassure her, and perhaps himself as well. But Hoai Ca had begun to tremble. The fear was no longer a vague thought. It had become a crushing weight around her chest, stealing her breath. Tony was slow to speak. He could not clearly cry out Mom like other children. If someone asked his name, his home, where his parents were, he might not be able to answer properly. If he became frightened, he would likely stand frozen or burst into tears, not knowing which way to run. The thought made Hoai Ca's eyes sting red. The image of her small, fragile son lost in the massive crowd appeared so vividly that it made her dizzy. She could not stand still. Tony! Where are you, Tony? She called out while pushing against the flow of people. Her hurried steps bumped into others, but she no longer noticed. Her eyes scanned frantically every face, every piece of clothing, every small head appearing and disappearing among the crowd. They split up to search in different directions. Hung rushed toward the area of traditional games. He checked behind stalls, asked every drink vendor, every adult watching the tug-of-war. He described quickly, a little boy, small build, what color shirt he was wearing, holding a bare balloon. Each shake of the head he received made his heart sink a little further. Hoài Ca ran toward the balloon stall, where bright clusters floated above. She examined every child of similar height, every shirt resembling Tony's. There were moments when she thought she saw a familiar silhouette. Her heart leapt with hope, but when she pushed closer, it was another child. Duc stayed close to his mother, tears streaming down his cheeks. He cried and called out at the same time. "Tony! Tony!" His choked little voice was nearly drowned in the surrounding noise, making the situation feel even more unbearable. At first, they tried to reassure themselves. He must be nearby. Maybe he was just a few steps away. Maybe he was standing quietly in a corner, waiting for his parents to find him. But the more they searched, the less they found. 10 minutes passed like an entire hour. Then 20. Hung returned to their original meeting spot. Sweat dotted his forehead despite the cold weather. His breathing was ragged. His voice had grown hoarse from calling. "I can't find him." "You haven't either." Hoài Ca shook her head slowly, as if she no longer had the strength to form words. Tears streamed down her face uncontrollably. She began blaming herself. Each broken sentence cut into her heart. "It's my fault. I didn't hold his hand tight enough. I looked away. It's my fault." She replayed the moment she had stumbled. The second her eyes left her son's hand. Just one careless beat. 1 second of loosened grip. And now he was no longer within reach. Hung swallowed the surge of emotion rising in his chest. He knew this was not the time to fall apart. Yet his eyes were red from tension and fear. Around them, the crowd was still dense, laughter and chatter continuing as though nothing had happened. Then he made a quick decision, his voice firm. "No. We announce it on the loudspeaker. Then we report to the commune police and ask for help. We can't search like this." They rushed to the organizing committee's area. Hung spoke rapidly and urgently. A missing boy named Tony, what he was wearing, his height, his features, that he was slow to speak and might not respond clearly if questioned. He tried to recall every detail as accurately as possible. The staff member immediately picked up the microphone. Within seconds, the announcement echoed across the lively festival. A missing boy named Tony, description given, anyone who finds him please bring him to the organizing committee's area. The sound cut through the spring music, causing many people to turn their heads. Some expressions shifted from joy to concern. Hoài Ca stood nearby, clutching Duc tightly as if holding on to the only lifeline left. Duc sobbed into her shirt, still calling his brother's name. "Tony! Tony!" Hoài Ca comforted him with trembling hands while lifting her gaze to the crowd. Her eyes scanned every open space, every pathway, every moving figure. It was as if she were searching for a miracle in the sea of people. Terrifying possibilities flooded her mind. Tony was so small, lost in a crowd this big. If he was frightened, if he stood alone, not knowing where to go, if he followed someone simply because they held his hand, not understanding danger. The thought sent a wave of icy fear through her entire body. She dared not think further. Only one silent prayer repeated over and over in her heart. Please let him still be somewhere nearby. Please let him be waiting. Please don't let anything happen. Hung pulled out his phone, his hand trembling slightly, yet he forced his voice to remain as steady as possible. He dialed his mother's number, each ringing tone stretching on as if tightening the pressure in his chest. The moment she answered, he spoke quickly, trying not to let panic overtake him. "Mom, Tony is lost at the festival. Please call everyone and come help us find him." It was only a short sentence, but it was enough to shake the person on the other end of the line. His mother's voice turned frantic, asking several questions in a rush, then immediately assuring him that she would call relatives, neighbors, anyone near the spring festival to come at once. The festive atmosphere that had just moments ago been lively and cheerful now felt as though a heavy gray cloud had settled over it. New Year greetings were abruptly replaced by hurried footsteps and anxious faces. The commune police and the festival security team quickly arrived. They split into small groups, spreading out in different directions. Some checked the entrances and exits. Others questioned vendors. A few walked along the fence behind the communal yard. Each person took on a task, trying to narrow down the search area. The loudspeaker continued to echo across the festival, repeating the information about a missing boy named Tony, describing his appearance and asking anyone who found him to bring him to the organizing committee's area. But time passed slowly and heavily. The longer it dragged on, the more Hoài Ca felt her strength draining away. Her legs weakened, and she had to cling to Hung's arm to remain standing. Her face turned pale, her lips trembling. The world before her seemed to sway. She sobbed, her breaths broken and uneven. "If something happens to Tony, how could I go on living?" That sentence was not merely fear, it was panic rising to its peak. In that moment, Hoài Ca no longer saw the festival, no longer heard the surrounding voices clearly. All she could see was the image of her small son, alone and lost in a sea of strangers. Hung tightened his grip on her shoulders. He was terrified too, but he would not allow himself to collapse. His voice was hoarse from calling their son's name so many times, yet he forced firmness into it. "Don't say that. Tony will be okay. Our son will be okay. Listen to me. We have to stay calm so we can find him." He looked straight into her eyes, as if trying to pass on whatever strength he still had left within himself. He knew that if both of them lost control, they would only become more lost in this overwhelming crowd. Yet the fear continued to grow with every passing minute. The festival remained noisy. The drums still pounded. People still laughed and talked. Children still ran around joyfully. The world did not pause for the terror of one small family. And that made Hoài Ca feel even more isolated. To her, everything had become a blurred haze. The faces passing by were strangers. The voices around her sounded distant, as though coming from far away. She held Duc tightly in her arms, unconsciously stroking his hair as if reminding herself that at least one child was still here. But her heart felt stretched painfully toward the empty space where Tony should have been standing. And then, at that very moment, in the distance, near the festival's entrance where people were still coming and going, a small figure stood quietly between two streams of moving bodies. Not running, not pushing, just standing still. The child was holding something tightly against his chest. He was not crying loudly, not calling for anyone, not struggling, just standing there like a leaf blown off its branch, lost in the current of people without knowing which direction to turn. Hoài Ca stopped breathing. The distance was not far, but it was enough that she could not see the child's face clearly. She only saw a painfully familiar silhouette, a shirt of nearly the same color, a posture so still that it made her heart constrict. She did not dare to be certain. If it was not Tony, she feared she would not survive another wave of crushing disappointment. Hung followed her gaze. He narrowed his eyes, trying to see more clearly between the taller figures passing back and forth. His eyes widened slightly, as if he had just recognized something. They looked at each other. No words were spoken. But in their eyes, there was only one fragile hope flickering between a fear that had not yet faded. Was that their son? Or just another child lost in the crowded festival? And if it wasn't, then where was Tony? They had alerted the police, made announcements, searched everywhere, yet time kept moving forward, each minute tightening the grip around their hearts. Would Tony be found in time? Who was the last person to see him? And what truly happened in the moment his small hand slipped from his mother's? Stay tuned for the next episode to find out what happens next.
Chào mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến video về câu chuyện tiếp theo của Hoài Ca và Hùng nha mọi người. Hôm nay thì ở chỗ mình thì vẫn đang ở trong những ngày đầu năm âm lịch, tức là ngày Tết Nguyên Đán. Thì hôm nay mình tiếp tục lên video mới để mọi người có thể xem. Thời gian qua thì mình nghỉ Tết nên là mình không có lên video đều được. Còn bây giờ thì mình bắt đầu lên và trở lại với công việc. Trước thì mình đi về nhà mẹ mình ở cách đây khoảng gần 200 km nên là mình không có làm việc được. Và do mình không có mang máy tính bàn về được, mình chỉ làm trên lab thì cái hiệu quả nó không được tốt nên là mình lên video khá là chậm. Với lại là do kỳ nghỉ Tết nên là mình cũng lười, mình cũng không có làm nhiều mọi người. Bây giờ thì mình đã quay trở lại. Cảm ơn mọi người và mong rằng thời gian tới mọi người sẽ theo dõi và ủng hộ cho kênh mình nhiều hơn. Tạm biệt nhé.